The hospital hallway erupted in chaos just before noon. An elderly man had collapsed beside the reception desk, his face turning pale as people froze in shock. Nurses rushed toward him, but before anyone could reach him, a tired single mother in a plain blue uniform dropped her cleaning cart and ran forward. She recognized the signs immediately. She knelt beside him, checked his breathing, loosened his collar, and kept him conscious until the medical team arrived. What she did not know was that the man she had just saved was the father of the most powerful millionaire in the city, and within hours, her own life would begin falling apart. Her name was Maribel Hayes, a 32-year-old single mother who worked 2 jobs just to keep a small apartment over her daughter's head. Every morning, she packed a simple lunch for her 8-year-old daughter, Nora, kissed her forehead, and promised she would be home before dinner. Maribel worked as a hospital service assistant during the day and cleaned offices at night. She never complained because every paycheck meant groceries, rent, school supplies, and another day of security for her little girl. She had learned that sometimes courage wasn't about being fearless. Sometimes it was simply getting out of bed when life gave you every reason to stay there. That afternoon, after saving the elderly man, Maribel returned to work expecting nothing more than a quiet thank you. Instead, her supervisor called her into a small office. The hospital had received a complaint. Maribel had supposedly left her assigned area, interfered with a patient's care, and created a dangerous situation. She tried to explain that the man had been unconscious and that every second mattered, but her supervisor refused to listen. The hospital was worried about liability, and someone had already complained that a low-level employee had acted without authorization. Within minutes, Maribel was handed her termination notice. She walked outside into the bright afternoon sunlight holding the paper with trembling hands. For a moment, the city seemed strangely beautiful, the blue sky, the trees moving gently in the breeze, children laughing near the parking lot. Yet Maribel felt as though the entire world had gone silent. She had only enough money for a few days of groceries. Her daughter's school payment was due the following week. She sat on a bench, looked at the termination letter, and quietly whispered a prayer before wiping her tears. If you believe kindness deserves a second chance, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories. Your support helps us bring more stories of courage, kindness, and second chances. What Maribel didn't know was that security footage from the hospital had captured everything. The elderly man she saved was Everett Caldwell, a retired business magnate and father of Adrian Caldwell, one of the wealthiest businessmen in the region. Adrian had arrived at the hospital shortly after the incident and demanded to know exactly what had happened to his father. When he watched the footage, he saw Maribel running toward his father while everyone else stood frozen. He saw her hands shaking as she kept checking for a pulse. He saw her stay beside him until the doctors arrived. Then Adrian learned that the woman who had saved his father's life had been fired. The next morning, Maribel was sitting at her kitchen table calculating how long she could survive on the money left in her bank account when a black luxury sedan stopped outside her apartment. Adrian stepped out wearing a simple dark suit. Maribel immediately assumed he had come to question her, but instead he thanked her. He told her that his father was alive because she had refused to walk away when everyone else hesitated. Maribel explained that she hadn't done anything special. She simply couldn't watch someone die. Adrian smiled sadly and told her that was exactly what made it special. He offered her a position managing a small community center his family had recently purchased, a job with steady hours, better pay, and medical benefits for her and Nora. Maribel hesitated because she didn't want charity. Adrian understood. He told her it wasn't charity. He had reviewed her work history and discovered years of dedication, reliability, and sacrifice. He wasn't rewarding her for saving his father. He was giving an opportunity to someone who had already proven she deserved one. Weeks later, Maribel walked into her new office while Nora proudly carried a small drawing she had made for her mother. The community center eventually became one of the most successful projects in the Caldwell Foundation. Maribel helped struggling families find food, childcare, employment, and hope, because she knew exactly what it felt like to need all four. One bright afternoon, Everett visited the center using a cane. He looked at Maribel and smiled before quietly thanking her again. Maribel simply hugged him, and for the first time in years, she felt that perhaps life had finally stopped testing her and started giving something back. Before we reach the ending, I have one special request. If this story reminded you that one act of kindness can change an entire life, comment "Kindness always wins" below. And if this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories for more emotional stories that remind us never to underestimate the power of a good heart.